Good morning, guys. This is kind of funny. This is a hot spot for RVers. So over there you've got a van camper, just behind it you've got a truck camper, and then on this side you've got a Class C motorhome. We're all just doing the same thing, hanging out on the street, which is kind of funny. Anyways, guys, let's get into today's video. This is a perfect spot for some video making. So, what is the most annoying thing about doing videos in your RV? Making my bed before I do the video so that I don't get a text message or a call from my mom 10 minutes after saying, Taylor, I can't believe you didn't make your bed. So why don't we make my bed first? Kind of difficult to make. A couple questions about my bed. It's a residential bed, it's a queen size bed, and it barely fit in my RV. I myself got it through that door and in here. So if you look down this crack here, that is extremely tight, but it just fits. And I actually broke this off when I was bringing the bed in. I had it over here and I was underneath it and I tried to put it on here and I broke that, but it fits. It's really tough to make, hurts your hands. You got to dig your hands in here and basically pull it down, shimmy it down on both sides, and then stretch out, and then that area has a little bit more of a gap to make it. But that's how I make my bed. Another question, am I worried about moisture buildup underneath my bed? No, I've checked it a few times and there's absolutely no moisture buildup. I think that if I can lift this up, there's like this kind of carpet under there, and I think that that's supposed to do something for moisture. But yeah, it's a big bed. It's much nicer than the one that actually came with the RV originally. So I'm gonna make this and then we're gonna start the Q&A, and I'm gonna just right now put some drone footage that I've had sitting on my laptop for a long time. I'm looking for a reason to use it, so I'm just gonna put some drone footage really quick with some music. I'll be right back. That looks a little bit better. Mom, I hope that you're happy with that. And the dishes, I don't think I'm gonna do the dishes. No, I'm not gonna do the dishes. It takes too long. I gotta heat the water up, and today's video is gonna be Q&A. Thank you for all your questions. Some really good questions, very thoughtful questions, and so let's get into it, guys. The first question coming up, would I recommend getting a two-wheel drive truck or a four-wheel drive truck? The question was, hey, I got a really good deal offered to me on a two-wheel drive truck, and I actually contemplated both, but now that I got the four-wheel drive truck, I realized how many times I would have needed the four-wheel drive. So I would highly recommend, if you're planning on going off-road at all, 4x4. It's a little bit extra, but when you're stuck in the woods out in the boonies, you're gonna be like, hey, I would pay $2,000 right now to get out of this situation, and that's, you know, that's the difference right there. How do you finance a truck camper? I can only speak from my personal experience, but what I did is I went into the RV dealership and I talked to their financial person and they ran my credit. You have to have decent credit, but at the time I had no assets. I didn't have a home. When you have a home, it's easier to finance things. When you have assets of some sort, it's easier to finance things. I had no assets at all, but that's as simple as it was for me. Taylor, you should do a meet and greet. Yes, I most certainly should. I'll plan that in the future. I just worry that there's not too many people in Victoria, I don't think, that watch my videos. And so you do a meet and greet and half the people that are in this area are busy and you end up with 2 people at your meet and greet. So I'll have to look into that a little bit more, figure out where everyone is at, and then maybe do more of a central location, maybe on the mainland, like a Vancouver area. Make it easier for people to come and hang out on, of course, a weekend when most people are off work. A lot of people asking the question, we'd love to see more of Victoria. Kind of exciting news, I've decided that this summer I am actually going to start a second channel, and that second channel is gonna be called Tour Bus Taylor. And it's going to be all about tour buses, it's going to be all about my tour, and it's going to be all about the hot spots in Victoria. I am still going to obviously keep this channel. This is my main channel, love this channel, and when I go camping or when I do anything RV related, it'll be on this channel. But I'm going to do 2 separate YouTube channels. I think it'll be quite interesting because I don't want to bombard you guys with tour bus stuff. Like, hey, what do the buttons do in a tour bus? If you don't want to see it and you want to see camping. So we're going to start 2 different channels. I'll let you know when the second channel is live, and it'll be neat for me just to kind of start talking about something new. And I love buses, I love trucks, I love it all. I love, when I was a little kid, I'd look at the bus and I'd look at all the switches and I was curious of how to operate it. So I think it'll be neat for people who are interested in tour buses, who are interested in Victoria and the tour aspect of it, and just to see all the nice spots here. There's a lot of them, but I don't want to mix the channels too much. How do I clean my truck camper? That's going to be its own video. I have a little bit of a process that I go through, and it kind of has enough content to make a full video. So that's what it's going to be, but it's going to be a fun video because the amount of space that I have to clean versus a home is so small. Somebody asked, what did you ask? You asked in depth of the kitchen and the fridge, and then you also asked about the moisture under the bed. I talked about the moisture under the bed, but fridge, I don't think that, I may have, but I don't think that I ever showed you guys like how big, oh no, I have, how big my fridge is. So anyways, just, that is the fridge area. Okay, so it's plenty big enough for 2 people. I mean, me and Rebecca used this fridge while we went across Canada. Quite a bit of space. And then the freezer, the freezer, you could actually stock up on some meats if you wanted to freeze some meats or some vegetables or whatever. It is quite a bit of space. And then you've got these 2 side panels right here. And have I had any problems with my fridge? No, it runs off propane. It runs fantastic. Except when I went to higher altitudes, the fridge stopped working, so I guess I did have a problem with it, but that was because of the regulator, and the regulator is supposed to be set a little bit different if you're at a higher elevation. So the elevation here is 0, I mean I'm right by the ocean, but once you start getting into the thousands, the fridge stops working unless you re-regulate it. So that is the answer to that. A little bit more in depth of your kitchen. I mean, it's a pretty basic kitchen. You've got your burners, you've got your oven, you've got your sink, there we go, your sink, and you've got your fridge. So the nice thing about cooking in here is in the morning I'll cook some breakfast and I can literally flip the sausages or flip the eggs here and then just grab the pan and then dump them on my plate, which is pretty neat. And I can even get in the fridge, I can get into the garbage right here. Everything is 1 hand length or arm length away. That's what I call convenience. A couple people wanted to see daily life, like just behind the scenes, what's the non-glamorous side, as people say, of the RV lifestyle. I think that Monday or Tuesday when I'm back working, I'm gonna make a full video of my daily routine for most days. When I'm not out camping, exploring the world, what do I do? Where do I sleep? What meals do I cook after I'm done work or before work? And how awesome is it to have your house at work? You'll see, coming soon. Talk about Bigfoot. Have I seen Bigfoot? Have I seen an Eddie? I think they're called Eddies. No, I never have. Any strange experiences out in the woods? Sadly, no. But not to say there isn't any. I keep my eye open. And if anyone were to get it on film, it would be me. I would get drone shots of that Bigfoot. Another question is, get a bike. I'm not the biggest biker. I like trail riding, but I wouldn't use it enough in town. So I probably won't get a bike. I still need a kayak. And talking about the boat, I know I talk about the boat a lot. I'm excited about my boat. It's I'm playing the waiting game right now, waiting for the owner of the last boat you saw to get back to me and see if it's for sale. So boat and kayak coming soon-ish. Taylor, if you had all the money in the world, what would be your setup? I would have a GM, probably, GM truck, diesel, 4-door, long box. I would have a truck camper just like this, probably I think it's the 865, the one with the no slide. Or I think it's maybe the 990 has one with no slide, but I wouldn't get a slide again. I've talked about it in previous videos. That would be my setup. Then I would also have a boat that I would live in, so I could live on land wherever I want, and then live on a boat wherever I want, and then I would have a cabin in the woods. And I would probably buy like a tour bus for fun, and just put my face on the side of it. And underneath say, living the dream, and I would just drive that around all day. Also, another thing that I would do is I would buy an excavator, and I'd buy a big chunk of land where my cabin was, my A-frame cabin. That was actually another question. What cabin do you want? I want an A-frame cabin. and I would just dig holes all day long. So I'd dig holes and then I'd fill it and then dig holes, because ever since I was a kid, I wanted to operate an excavator. One day I will. A ton of questions, truck or camper maintenance. My truck's a 2017, it has 54,000 kilometers on it. None. Absolutely none. Oil changes. That's all I've put into the truck. I mean, a truck that age with that many kilometers, there shouldn't be much maintenance. With the truck camper, I've talked about it in previous videos, but I broke a window down here, the window right behind my my cab. I think a rock hit it, and then my awning, which is on this, my slide awning, which is on this side. I was driving through Montana, and it was so windy that it actually came unraveled and it ripped itself. So that was my fault. But those are the only two things with the camper. And then of course seals. I check my seals a lot. Some of them are cracked because I always have this camper on, in movement. Like my home is going through a 3.5 magnitude earthquake every single day. So little seams crack here and there, but I keep up on it. This is a really interesting question. Best way to keep yourself entertained in a small space when living in a small space when it's cloudy or overcasty outside. And this is actually a question my mom had. I don't, this is a tough one to answer. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you what. I miss, because Rebecca has her new place right now. She moved into a new place she's renting. I miss hanging out on the couch and watching TV, but only sometimes, because I miss it, but I do not want it back because it's just a time waster. When I'm in my RV, I'm way more productive, because when it's cloudy and gloomy outside, sometimes I don't want to sit in here all day, so I'll get out and do things. Whereas if I had a home or more space, I wouldn't. I would just hang out in my house and walk around. But this has forced me to get out and to make more videos and to go sit at a Starbucks more and edit more videos than I ever would just watching Netflix at home. So I would say that I kind of miss that aspect of it, but I wouldn't want it back, simply because my life's much better with it out of my life, if that makes any sense. So to answer your question, I get out and I do things, and I don't mind just hanging out in my RV sometimes. I put a movie on. You asked me what's my favorite movie. My favorite movie ever is Without a Paddle with Dax Shepard, I think. I really love that movie. So I'll put a movie in, either start my generator, or, which when I first bought my RV, I didn't understand how this worked. This is connected to my inverter. So my TV is an AC TV, so it won't run off my batteries. So I either have to start my generator or plug this into my TV, and then I've got full surround sound, and I've got my folding TV, so I can just hang out and watch movies all day if I feel like it. Could you talk a little bit about when you're driving your camper, has anything happened while in transit? Yeah, but only one thing. This sliding door, there used to be a sliding door that would cover my bathroom. When I would brake hard, say a car in front of me braked hard, or I broke hard, I hit the brakes hard when I went to a stoplight, this sliding door would unclip from here, and I also had Velcro right there. It would unclip, and twice I actually found it basically laying right here, so it had fallen off, it had slid off of its hinges. So I totally removed this door for that reason, and because it provides me a little bit more space with the slide in to get in and out of my RV. Are there any pointers that you would give me when looking for an RV or about to purchase an RV or a truck camper? Yes, definitely. There's a bunch of things. Well, that's tough, because if you never owned an RV before, you're not going to know what you really like and dislike about it. So my two things that I would say to you: number one, spend some time in it. Kick the salesman out. Say, hey, I want to hang out in here for an hour. Seriously, I want to hang out in here for an hour. Come back. You could even take it for a test drive. You know, just see how it hauls, all of that. So just hang out, go through your normal day-to-day. You know, go stand by the stove. A lot of RVs have your microwave or this vent. They come out to like here. So you're standing like this. Just go around and go, okay, you know, does this make sense? You know, how's that? How's this? All of that. Go sit in the bed, go lay down in the bed. Pretend like you're cleaning dishes or washing dishes. Go do everything just to make yourself familiar with the RV and certain things that you like and dislike. And then the second thing is just enjoy being in your, there. Just enjoy being, actually one sec, talking about space, sometimes I forget that the windows can open and I'm sitting in here and I can't see the outside, but as soon as I lift a window, it's a little bit, you feel freer. Okay. Second thing that I want to talk, second thing that I wanted to say is enjoy being in your RV. I don't sound so simple, but there's been plenty of times that I've walked in a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, truck camper, and I've been like, oh, I wouldn't want to live in that. I wouldn't want to be in that because it's not very inviting. When you look back here, I'll tell you that the Arctic Fox, out of all the truck campers I've seen, does the best job of making the inside feel homey, comfortable, and cozy. There's not many RVs that look, one second, that look and feel like this. So make sure you enjoy being in your RV. And then the last really good question was, what items would you get rid of when you're moving into a camper? Like, what do you need? Now, I did a truck camper storage video a little while ago, but that's a really good idea, and that's going to be its own video because I did move from a house into a camper. So what did I get rid of and what did I keep and what did I regret getting rid of and what should have I kept, kind of thing. I'll do a full video on that. Really good idea, and thank you for the question. And I just flipped the page over. There's one more question. Difference between a Four Seasons truck camper and a standard truck camper. Insulation, and usually insulation and insulation, and the tanks underneath are heated. So whether they're heating by themselves or there's air that goes down and heats from your furnace down and heats your tanks up so they don't freeze or your lines don't freeze. Double pane windows, great insulation, and keeping those tanks full of liquid, keeping them liquid and not freezing them. That's the difference between Four Seasons and a standard. Another thing I wanted to add onto that, if there's anything that you are curious about, if you just type in my name, Taylor Desmond, and then type in whatever you're curious about, Taylor Desmond, how I edit videos, or Taylor Desmond, any of that. The way I set the videos up is that if you use keywords, say you wanted to see how I edit videos or make YouTube videos, just type it in and it'll pop up with my video. So if you're curious about anything that I haven't discussed in this video, just type it in and see if it pops up. And usually I've made a video about it, or something that you're curious about is in one of those videos. So guys, I think that's it for today's video. I want to apologize for something. I actually want to just apologize for two things I was thinking about today. Number one, there's been times, and it doesn't happen often, but there's been times in these videos where I've said I'm going to do something and I haven't done something, and that's something I'm going to work on. It doesn't happen very often, but I remember, just for an example, a lot of people are curious about the cooking videos. I said that I would do one once a week, and then I didn't do that. And so there's two things that I'm going to start doing. Number one, if I say something, I'm going to do it, but more important, don't say something that you can't promise. And it's really tough with YouTube and life in general, because you start saying all this stuff, and then next week you get an opportunity to do something else, and then your whole plan kind of changes. So I want to apologize for that. I know that a lot of you are like, oh, we don't care. But I was just thinking about it today, and I want to say sorry. And I'll be a little bit more careful with my words. And number two, I've gotten some comments, I guess you could say some hate comments, not really. And usually I don't care about them, and it is what it is. But some of them are right. And the ones that are right is, people keep saying, stop talking about what you're going to talk about and just talk about it. I have a problem that I say, I'm going to talk about this, and then let's just say this. I'm just going to make the video, and I'm going to, instead of talking about what I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to talk about it. With that being said, most of you probably don't even catch it or don't even care, and it just is what it is. But those are just two things I'm going to work on. So if you care at all, I apologize. And if you don't, then it's all good. Right on. And then with that being said, my last thing that I want to talk about, and that's something I talked about doing, but I've now changed my mind a little bit, and that is buying some land and building a cabin. Still going to do it, but I want your guys' input as well. I follow very successful business people such as Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, many more, and they swear on their lives that there is going to be a recession within the next 2 or 3 years. And so I did some research on it, and it turns out that recessions happen about every 10 years, and we're about due for one, sadly. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but this is just the information that I get. And to be honest, I'm gonna take the side of the very successful business people who know more than I do, and I'm not going to buy a piece of land yet. I think I'm gonna wait until after this recession that we're going to be getting, because that makes more sense. So I'm going to try to sit on cash a little bit more and not leverage myself so much. So of course I'm going to, down the road, buy a piece of land. That's 100%. I'm just not going to do it now. So I'm sorry to get everyone excited about it. I started looking into it and I went, well, if things do start to not get so good, I really don't want to be sitting on that big of a mortgage. So that's a little bit about that. I just thought I'd let you guys know. Comment in the section below what you think about all of that. You know, recessions. I'm 27 years old. I know the last one was, I believe it was 2008, and it was really, really bad. And looking at the trend of how things happen, we're kind of due for another one. So let me know what you think. Comment in the section below. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Wanted to tell you one thing, and I want to plug my product. So as you can see, there's some product back here. Just 1 second. So if you've made it this far in the video, this is just some of the product that I have. I want to tell you guys 2 things. Number 1, this for a day, as of starting when this video is released, this will be 20% off, the travel camping blanket, and also this very adorable teddy bear with Living the Dream right here will also be 20% off. And why don't we just throw this knife in as well? This multi-tool, 20% off, says Living the Dream Camper Life. It's a really neat multi-tool. It's actually really high quality, and I did some pricing. I also heard from some of you guys who bought it saying that this was the cheapest multi-tool you could find online or in store. So with 20% off, that will most certainly be the case. So my friends, 20% off those 3 items. And for everyone who wanted a little bit of a larger shirt and I went out of order, I have now stocked up a few. So I've got double XL, triple XL, and yeah, in the black, the green, and the gray. It's a little bit of a different green. It's more of a forest green, but I couldn't get the exact military green that I had before, but it's still a really good looking shirt, and it's on my website. You can go check out the color and all that stuff. So head over to truckcampertailor.com if you feel like getting any of that. If you don't, hope that you had a wonderful day today. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Keep living that dreams, keep living that dream, my friends. Until next time, take care and bye-bye.